Oh, they're here. What's
Nico,
going
you saved
on?
me, everyone.
I was not expecting you guys to get here just then. Welcome to Millionaire University, the school where you graduate rich, not broke. Because who wants that?
But it happens.
It does happen. It's really sad.
It's so sad. We were there. Speaking of, we have created something really special for you guys. We have a free business training at millionaireuniversity.com/training. Go check that out.
All right, on to today's episode. Today, we are going to talk about the only 3 things your business needs. Your business only needs 3 things.
Maybe you should go back to college.
3. That's the problem. I went to college for too long. Focus on these 3 things, and you will make money. Money, 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 money. So we will talk about those 3 things today, and it's going to be amazing. Ready? Let's go. Now, the reason why this is so important is because in business, it's so easy to get distracted. There's a million ways to make $1 million. So you might see all these different businesses, all the different things they're doing. You might have like 20 books that you want to read. What else do people get distracted with?
I was just thinking, entrepreneurs, I feel like their brains are set up to have amazing ideas and they get really excited about that. But sometimes they're really good at avoiding things.
I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, I've got this idea for this thing. And I'm like, that's great. But then they don't really do the things that they have to do to bring that thing to life and to actually make a business and make money. It's so easy to get distracted with things. We get excited about the idea of having a business. We get excited about the things that business can afford us. People get distracted with setting up their office, getting business cards, getting the right software, thing after thing after thing, but they avoid these 3 things.
Honestly, they avoid the thing that scares them. Like if you're really good at something, you'll probably naturally start doing that and then avoid the things your business really needs. Okay, so let's talk about number 1. This is something we're going to be covering in the next episode. So we're going to say this in about 2 seconds. Number 1, you need a product or a service. That's it, the end. Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2, which is the single most important thing in any business, is you need to sell that product or service.
Okay, it's not that bad. But if you are going to start a business, you need to understand, accept, acknowledge this. You are now a salesperson. No matter what you think, no matter what you're trying to avoid, you are now a salesperson.
Now, the cool thing is there's a lot of different ways that you can sell or market your product. So I know a lot of people out there, when they hear sales, they feel like that's beneath them or that sounds horrible. Like, nobody wants to be a salesperson. I know I felt like that when I went to college and I started doing door-to-door sales. Before I did door-to-door sales, I was like, there's no way. This guy reached out to me. He's like, hey, do you want to do door-to-door sales with me? And I'm like, heck no. Like, nobody likes a salesperson.
It's true.
But yet this is what will make you incredibly successful, like incredibly rich. This will give you all your dreams. You got to remind yourself, this will give you everything that you ever wanted in life if you are willing to say, I am a salesperson. My business focuses on sales.
It's true. Justin and I are different. He is an extrovert. I'm an introvert. So the way in which we sell in our business is very different. He handles certain things. I handle certain things. We both sell a lot. We both focus a ton on marketing, but we play to our strengths. And we'll talk a lot more about that. But no matter what you do, you need to be selling. And if you're not going to sell, you need to partner with or hire those who are willing to do that. But selling in your business is the lifeblood, as Justin said.
To Tara's point, there are some people I know that are very introverted. They are like, you mentioned sales, I'm already gone. Maybe we've already lost you, right? But for those of you who are still with us but are having a hard time, yes, a good way to start might be literally getting on the phone and calling everyone you know, or cold calling 1,000 people. Because if you can do that, then I guarantee you will have a successful business. Having that been said, if that is absolutely a deal breaker, there's no way you're going to do that. We know a lot of people who don't like talking to people that are very successful in business because they figured out a medium and a way that works for them. Or let's say you're like a programmer, and most programmers, let's be honest, aren't big salespeople, right? But you're really good at programming. You have a great product idea. You're going to develop the product. You can hire or you can partner with someone who is going to focus on sales. The key is that your business is focusing at least 80% of its time, energy, attention on sales. So there's got to be a huge emphasis on sales constantly, whether that's you or you creating some kind of marketing or system around that, which we'll talk about a lot in future episodes, or somebody else doing those sales for you. It could be a partner, it could be someone that you're paying sales commission. Now, if you have the funds, you could pay them a salary, but I highly recommend at the beginning, commission or partnering with someone who can do those sales if you're not going to be doing them.
Yes. Just remember, if you ever are confused about what you should be doing in your business or you aren't getting the success you probably want, it's most likely a sales problem. Just keep that in mind.
It is not, if you build it, they will come. You have to build it and sell it. Or you can sell it and then build it, which we often like to do as well.
Yes.
So keep that in mind, not to go backwards too far, but you do not have to have your product or service done or perfect before you sell it. In fact, I highly recommend, unless you have a restaurant where the main thing is the product and it has to be dialed in pretty good or something like that, come up with the bare bones or nothing, just the concept, and sell it first, and then you can improve it over time. But we'll get into more of that in details later on.
Okay, let's go on to number 3. The third thing is once you've created and sold your product or service, you'll have to deliver on the promise that you made. So if you're selling a physical product, you'll need to make sure that they get that product and that they're happy with it.
If you're selling software, you'll have to make sure that's delivered to them. Or if you're doing a coaching or education business, you need to make sure that they get the thing that they've been promised. So this will include things like customer service, making sure your customers are happy. And if you have happy customers, they're going to tell other people about your product and service as well.
I'm really excited to be talking about this in future episodes because this really is an area of brilliance for Justin. He's so good at systems, and I think systems are fun. It's exciting to get things moving and working and functioning for you so that you can scale your business.
I'm actually just really lazy and don't like doing anything, and I'm not capable of doing anything. So I try to get everyone else to do everything for me.
I can vouch for that.
Now, that in of itself is a lot of work, but I see it as a game. I see business as a game. It's like this really fun game that you make money by doing. I mean, do we love board games?
No.
I don't love board games because I get bored. I don't love board games because I feel like I'm doing this thing that takes work and focus and thought, but I don't get paid for. I love the game of life. So to me, it's a fun game to try to figure out, okay, what is the thing that I can sell? How do I sell that? And then how do I deliver on that thing and make it all systematized and processed? Anyway, it's pretty fun. So we'll talk a lot more about this in future episodes, but remember those 3 things. It's easy to get distracted with all the shiny objects, all the things out there, but every business only needs 3 things. You need a product or a service.
You need to sell that product or service. And then
you need to deliver on the promise that you made of that product or service when you sold it.
And keep in mind, ultimately your goal is not to be doing everything in your business, but in the beginning, it may be that way if you are a one-man or one-woman band. So we're going to talk about how to scale these things, but for right now, it might be you.
But yeah, there's no point of focusing on scaling or improving your customer service or making sure everything is dialed in until you have a product and until you're selling that product. Then it's kind of like, what's that song on Pocahontas? Just around the river bend. You never really know what's going to happen until you get to that next bend. Sometimes people are focusing all their time on figuring out all these details, but the truth is until you have a product and you're selling that product, you'll see more clearly. There's a quote, I forget who said it, but basically it's like you got to have faith to step into the darkness. And then once you step into the darkness, the light comes on. It's not the other way around.
I so agree. I remember I was sitting at the computer. You were walking out the door and I said, "Where are you going?" And you're like, "I'm going to go knock some doors. I'm going to get some offers." And I was like, "Well, what are you going to say?" And you said, "I have no idea. I'll figure it out when I get there." So just take those steps into the darkness and things will come. Well, what about the next step? What if we get an offer? He's like, "We'll figure it out when we get there." So it's all about taking a few steps into the darkness so the path can be lit up and you can kind of move forward. If you plan out every single detail, you'll be burnt out and it will change and you'll be frustrated because you'll waste all that time planning everything out and it will shift as you go.
Amen. So if you're ever not sure what to do in your business, think about these 3 things. Number 1, do you have a product or service to sell? If you don't, figure out what that product or service is, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. Number 2, if you do have a product or service, are you selling it? If it's not selling, that's what you need to focus on. That's probably the main thing. And then number 3, if you are selling a product or service successfully and you're making money, but you're having issues, it's probably a fulfillment problem. And those are things we can talk about later on as well. In the next episode, we are going to be talking about how to come up with your big idea. So if you don't yet have a product or service, we're going to really break that down in our next episode.
Also, we get a lot of people asking us, I have this great idea and I want to start this business, or I'm stuck in this part of my business. I don't know what to do. What should I do? So we created this free course on millionaireuniversity.com/training to help you figure out where you are, what you should do next, and how you can get moving forward.
So go to millionaireuniversity.com/training if you want to get that free course.
And we will see you guys next time
on the Millionaire University podcast. Bye-bye.